This is a great book because often most players, the beginners, they don't understand that there are some kind of spiritual side for us human player that cannot calculate like an engine in order to win a chess game. And sometimes the spiritual side means to be less materialistic. So you actually give away material in order to win. This book tell you about the value of pieces, time, space, and so how these things change value during the game and how you sometimes have to give up something in order to win the game. The book has also some exercises, so it's not only about showing you a lot of model games. As you can see, there are text exercises at the end of every chapter, which is really good because if you don't do the exercises, how are you going to improve? So when I generally show a game, and here I want to show you game 59 of this book, but in reality in this book there are really tons of games, okay? Most of them are fragments, so they don't start from move 1, but it doesn't matter, right? Because the important thing is the example. And notice that the exercises, there are really tons of exercises, okay? So you have more than 50 exercises, and so just for that you should be enticed by the book. The game in the book are more than 100, so you have a lot of material to study. What I want to show you here is Fabiano Caruana, game 59, against Maxime Vachierlav-Grave. In that moment, Fabiano Caruana was 28-20, so imagine how strong he is, it's crazy. And Maxime Vachierlav-Grave, also abbreviated as MVL, is 27-57. It was played at Vacancy in 2015, okay? Fabiano Caruana was white and he played e4, c5, knight f3, d6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, e6, so this is the Najdorf, h3. And here the comment from the author is, this has been one of the most popular approaches against the Najdorf in recent years. e5, knight d e2, h5, g3, bishop a6. MVL favorite setup, he prefers to develop the bishop to e6 to strengthen his control over the key square d5, okay? Because that is generally the fight in the Sicilian. Over the other plan. The other plan, it seems, is b5, and here there is a line that he gives, which he says he was Boris Gelfand favorite. By the book, you will see the line. Sorry. Notice one thing, when he played, when we were here, no? He plays g3, it's because he needs to develop that bishop, and this is there, right? So immediately you already know what is the next move by white, which is bishop g2, knight bd7, a4. So that's why Gelfand prefer b5, probably because he wants to limit the white's space advantage or development in that queen side, right? Bishop e7, castle, and rook c8. Here the author writes, before castling, black mobilizes his queenside pieces, since the heart of the strategic battle in the opening is taking place on the D and C files. Okay? Bishop e3. White could also have secured the c4 square fort with b3. So he could have played this move to secure this square. And here it says this prevents the plan black use in the game, but also loosens the c3 knight a bit. Obviously now the c3 knight is not protected as well as it was before, okay? And the black could then change plans and focus on creating dark square control on the king side with h4. So this is another possibility, okay? But for the moment, let's not get too much confused in all this plan, and let's just enjoy the game. Bishop e3, knight b6. Wow. This move was played with a concrete idea that MVL had prepared at home, which means the engine probably prepared for MVL, because I don't understand. I don't really think today chess players invent this stuff without using an engine, right? b3, so yes, he's trying to control c4, and d5. The point: black sacrifices the backward d pawn to free up his pieces. Bishop take b6. White has to accept the sacrifice since a5 would be met by d4. Yeah, it makes sense. So he says that white cannot play this move because black would play this. So yeah, it's kind of bad, right? Queen takes b6 and knight takes d5. It makes more sense to trade a pair of knights so that white can connect his pawn with c2, c4 compared to e takes d5. Okay, let's see. Knight takes d5, e takes d5, and bishop d7. MVL's evaluation of a position after the pawn sacrifice is quite insightful. I have no clue whether white is better, but he is struggling to move his queenside pawns because of the fantastic job the bishop e7 is doing. Meanwhile, on the king side, my pawn majority, 4, yes, 4 against 3, can start rolling. Still, I need to be careful not to allow white to create a blockade, and especially the battle for the e4 square will be crucial, as white's knight can get there quite quickly. Okay, interesting. So c4 and queen d6. It may not be immediately obvious why black would need to play like this. MVL want to make sure that white does not play d5, d6, so he didn't want this to be pushed, which would clear the long diagonal for this bishop, right? The d5 for his pieces, and the d5 outpost for the knight. Even if this is not the strongest move, it is an excellent example of prophylactic thinking. He admitted that bishop c5 was part of his own preparation, bishop c5. But he did not like to give white the option of playing d6, okay, to push this pawn, which give him the above mentioned active possibilities. Okay, so here what we are really seeing is the fact that the author is giving us an example of how space is more important than the material. Okay, so this is the reason of this example, and look that there are other chapters like relative value of a material or time over this material. So each chapter shows different games or fragments that are going to teach you a lesson, okay? So Caruana played a5, it seems, so right? Yeah. Caruana obviously want to make sure that black does not block the queen side with a6, a5, but this misses the point. Why should have started the fight for the center immediately with knight c3? And here he gives a line. The problem, in my opinion, honestly, when I read these books, is the following thing. This move, you say it's wrong, it's dubious, great. It's a wrong plan, perfect. I'm okay with it. Maybe it is, maybe it is not, I don't know. I don't have any idea. The point is, if a player that is 28-20 makes the wrong plan, how am I supposed to find the right plan? Because, I'm sorry, Caruana plays from when he was 5 years old. I did not play from when I was 5 years old. I didn't have the amount of coaches that Caruana had that were amazing people, from Pandolfini to everyone else that he encountered. I think he has this Chuchelov that was really a special guy that had some special position to make him think and so on. So, if Caruana makes a mistake of this kind, how a club player is supposed to find the right plan? That's what I don't understand. And that's why, in my opinion, the problem is that many of these books, they find the right plan, like knight c3, but because the engine told them, not because they knew. Okay, so I had to stop the video because I had a phone call, but the point was that I was reflecting upon the fact that I don't understand how a normal human being, a normal chess player, would be able to find the right plan in this position. The game continues with f5. Now black is one move faster in the fight for the key squares on the king side. Queen d3, h4, g4, and now there is castle. The Frenchman prefers to mobilize his pieces as quickly as possible rather than going for low-hanging fruit, which means to take, okay? Because obviously you need more pieces to win on that side. If you have, you cannot attack that side that has 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces with only 2, no, or 3. You need to have a majority to at least 4 pieces or 5, right? That's how it works. Okay. And it seems that the author was able to remember some of the comments made by MVL. In this case, he says, giving up most of my initiative for one lame pawn is not in my habits. Talk about non-materialism. Allora, so let's go back here. So he just played the castle, which was very important because you need to bring more pieces. Now, here Caruana makes a move that is wrong, knight c3. And the author says Caruana probably miscalculated something, because this move allows the dangerous e5, e4 push. That opens up the h2, b8 diagonal, b8, h2. And so this diagonal, okay? It was necessary to eliminate this threat by exchanging f5 with, so instead of knight c3, it was important to play this move. Once more, we can see that someone that is 28-20 didn't get it right. But, once more, the author of the book doesn't tell us how he achieved that this is the best, g takes f5 instead of knight c3. And why am I saying this? Because if we would like to make a real study in order to understand which move is really right, we should present this position to like, I don't know, 25 players of different strength and ask them, how do you continue as white? And then we discover if this move is wrong or not. Of course, you can tell me, oh, no, it's wrong because it's written in the book and is chosen maybe by stockfish. Yes, but at human level, if we are in a tournament game, since we are not allowed to use stockfish, we need to know what real humans think, and that's the way to know it, in my opinion. Okay? However, he practically gave a line with g takes f5 that was like 6 move longs, and it seems that is also given by MVL in his notes. But again, we don't know if MVL in his notes use a computer, right? Black plays e4, queen e3, and now there is bishop d8. And the author says, this is probably what Caruana missed. There is no good way to defend against the queen-bishop battery on h2 b8. h2 b8. Okay, so diagonal now. Black's control over the dark squares finally bears fruit. By the way, the other way to set up the battery with queen e5, it does not work because of f4. Okay. So yeah, if I may say one thing about this bishop d8, I remember in other books that they said that for chess players it's very difficult to see a move that goes back, while they see moves that go forward. But the one backward, often they are not calculated. So maybe that's the real problem in this game. Now, Caruana tries to give up the piece for 3 pawns, okay? F takes e4, knight takes e4, and queen f4. Queen takes f4, rook takes f4, f3, and bishop e7. Here it says white will try to set up some sort of fortress with this pawn mass, but black should be able to break it eventually. Here is how MVL approach the position. I'm aiming for the ideal setup bishop e7 b4, rook c f8, and then bishop d7, e8 and g6. And white will have too many weaknesses. White bringing his king to the center is thus no surprise, although it accelerates his fate. So let's see how white continued here. After bishop e7, he continued with king f2, rook c f8, king e3, bishop e8, c5. This move prevents black from putting his bishop on b4, but it also surrenders a new outpost for the other bishop. Okay, so this is the other bishop outpost, right? Bishop b5, right? And b4, very good move it seems, a cool defensive idea. White is ready to play this endgame a rook down, but Vachier-Lagrave shows once again that material possessions do not interest him. How? So you're black, try to guess what black did in this position. It seems that black played rook takes e4 and he got this knight. Attacking the king is more important than material, as he puts it. And he says, black's remaining pieces will work together in perfect harmony. Actually, after bishop takes f1, rook takes f1, it seems that white might indeed have a fortress, no matter what Magnus Carlsen thinks about them. So he says that if he would have played this and white would have taken, this was an impenetrable fortress, and so white would have been able to draw. But after rook takes e4, things change. King takes e4, rook e8, and the white king is completely exposed now. The end is near. King f4. And it seems here there is a comment that says the king can escape the mating net only at the cost of huge material losses. And it shows king e3 and how he gets practically or lose so much material, gets checkmated in a few moves, like 3-4 moves. Notice one thing, if you go here, what do you think is gonna happen? This is very funny. Bishop f6, checkmate. This is a checkmate. So this is the move. g5, king f5, king f7. Such quiet king moves that close the mating net are well known. Now bishop d3 is threatened and is a checkmate, okay? Rook f e1, bishop d3, rook e4, and of course there was another checkmate, bishop f6, and the white resigned because the only move that prevents rook e5 checkmate is f4, which is met by checkmate again, which is bishop takes e4. Again, the two bishops are killing. Okay? And here it says a beautiful finale of a world-class performance by MVL. Again, this book has many beautiful games. I generally like to buy these books because they have a lot of example games that and the exercise, generally the exercises are very, very important, but I just enjoy to watch the games on the chessboard for entertainment, to tell you the truth. It's just entertainment for me. Like watching a soccer game, I like to watch these games because I know the author has selected them with a particular instructive value in mind. Okay? I hope you will enjoy them too. Thank you.